Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Married Now Widowed. We're your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Nadine, and this podcast is about navigating life after loss through unfiltered conversations.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome back.
Unlike last week's episode, I'm not going to say, this week we're talking about something new. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. That's
All
not
right.
my intro. But
No.
I am going to have a disclaimer,
Again.
as I always do, because I've always got some sort of issue on this podcast. Skin, again.
Yep.
Just treated it looking crazy, but you know what? The show must go on.
Yes.
And I am here, like I'm, you know,
Yep,
I'm
with bells
solid.
on.
I'm not missing an episode.
I love that.
I'm doing it, even
Yeah.
though I look crazy. So just try and ignore that. Anyway, this episode is called The Grief Olympics.
Yes.
Okay, so this is about competing and comparing our grief journeys.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So
I think this is a powerful one, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of people do that.
always,
Yeah.
I feel like people always do that, unintentionally and intentionally
Yes.
too.
Yes.
So, first of all, I feel like people compare their level of sadness, which is a bit weird if you think about it.
It is weird. Of
Who's
course
more
it's weird.
sad? I mean, who wants to be more sad, right? I'd rather be the less sad person.
100%.
Yeah. But I feel like it happens a lot, especially amongst family.
Yeah.
I would say like people close to the deceased. I don't really feel like I've ever had that from outsiders,
Yeah.
but people close,
Yeah.
right? So comparing
They want to be more affected.
the most affected.
Yes.
But on the other hand of that, I also feel like when we talk about comparisons, not just for your person, also for
Somebody else's person.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for example, I mean, this hasn't happened to me.
Yeah.
But if my husband, me and you, it's like us comparing who was more sad over their
Yeah.
husband's death.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think the comparison can be in two ways, over your person and over someone else's grief experience.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, number one, it doesn't feel good for the other person if you're comparing
Of
your
course not.
sadness or your grief, because it makes the other person feel like shit. Someone, you might catch them on a good day, a better day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they feel shit for not feeling like that. And I know this sounds really weird, but now that I'm further along in my grief journey,
Yep.
sometimes I can't match someone's sadness and I feel like they make me feel bad.
But that's okay.
Oh, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they expect me to be at their level in that moment, but
Yeah.
I'm just not there that day.
Yeah.
I might be there another day, but that
Of course.
particular day, that particular moment, what triggered you didn't trigger me.
Yeah.
I wasn't affected by it.
Yeah.
So I actually find it really awkward because they'll someone will say a story or
Do you
something.
have an example?
Or a specific one? No, maybe not a specific one. You know what I think it is as well, though? When I shut off to things, I just shut off to them and
Yeah.
I don't show any emotion. So sometimes someone in my family might tell a story about my husband and they follow it on with sadness and and then they go into like this hole.
Yeah.
But I'm not there because
Yeah.
I don't take in those stories. I like to not listen to them. I
Yeah.
don't like to acknowledge things. So because I'm so shut off, I'm like
Doing something
nothing.
else.
I feel nothing when stuff like that because I just don't let myself feel that way, you know?
But it could also go the other way.
what, they're too sad for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Depends
no,
on
no.
the person.
No,
Oh,
the
no?
other way, as in they could be telling a story and they could be so happy, but then it might make that person you sad.
Yeah. I think
Do you
it's
know what I mean?
emotions in
Yeah,
general. It's
of
not
course.
always like sadness,
Yeah.
but even, happy stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know what it would likely be in my case scenario because I'm such like bit of a rock. It's usually I'm remembering something that makes me happy or makes me laugh and then I look over and someone's crying and I'm like, sorry. Yeah, like, fuck, I didn't. Oh.
Yeah.
Now we've got
Didn't
to
mean
get
that.
there, you
Yeah.
know? And sometimes it's tiring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get tired. I don't want to feel like that all the time. I'm exhausted.
Do you feel like sometimes you have to go there?
personally or in that setting?
No, in that setting.
No, I
like
never.
you have to go there.
I never.
Not even early on.
Early on, I think it was natural to go there because I think it was
but that in-between period where you were okay, you weren't at that level, but they were, so you had to match that.
No? Probably should. It might be like common courtesy. I don't.
No, well, if it's about your person,
I don't like to be fake. I don't like to be fake. I would never like
you said before, if you're having a good day and you're not feeling that way, why should you fake that?
I'm happy to support you through your moment and listen to you and hear your stories or hear whatever.
How many times have I been like really upset and called you so sad and crying and you're just there to support me and vice versa? Yeah. There were moments where you crashed out and I was
some things make me sad, like sometimes you'll call and you're sad about something and then it'll remind me of something and I will get sad, but other times I don't get sad and I don't like to I feel like there's a lot of people that I don't know whether they feel the pressure to conform and become sad too, or if it's just a comparison thing and competing. They want, well, she's sad, so I need to be sad too. I don't want her to think that she, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't get any of that. I couldn't give a fuck what you think about me, whether you think I'm sad, not sad, don't care. Yeah. Even family, don't give a shit what you think. Yeah. But I won't fake it. I can't fake it anyway. Like I'm not, you'll know if I'm faking it. I just look like an idiot. Yeah. But I just won't fake it because I just don't think that that's right.
It's not right. It's definitely not right. Yeah. And not just that, why should you fake it? If you're having a good day and something is affecting somebody else and it's not affecting you that day, I mean, people should be happy about that. Yeah. Because I'll tell you why. I also don't want people to, be afraid to speak about Mick in front of me because they think that that's going to upset me.
That's right.
Whereas for me, I love hearing stories about Mick. I love it when people, say, oh, you know what happened back in the day, and they'll tell me a story. I'm like all for it. Like one of Mick's friends, recently told me about how Mick said he was a pilot and I was like, sorry? Yeah. What the fuck? And then I wanted to know the story and then he got into the story. Didn't make me sad. I love hearing things like that about Mick. But I feel like if I'm constantly sad, people might not speak about him because they're going to think, oh, well, every time we speak about him, she's going to be upset. And it might not even be in a bitchy way. It might even be, we don't want her to be upset.
But, on the opposite side to that, if you are okay even 50% of the time, but then let's just say I bring up Mick and it does make you sad, that's also fine.
Of course it is.
You've lost someone.
It doesn't mean I don't want you to, but it doesn't mean I don't want you. Yeah. Unless somebody says to you, please, I don't want you to bring him up.
Yes, that's different.
It hurts me too much. Yeah. Then talk about him. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
And I think as well, most people could probably read a room and just get an idea of whether that person wants to carry on the conversation or they don't.
Yeah, or if they shut it down.
Yeah. So I think definitely I don't think it's the right thing to do to compare. And I do think that most people don't compare. Yeah. I think the small percentage of people that do, I think sometimes it comes from a selfish place, to be honest, because I think they want, why do you want to make someone feel like you're more sad over their person or your person than the other person is? Why would you be thinking that in the moment?
Because people want attention.
100%. Oh, absolutely. It's such an attention-seeking tactic. Absolutely.
Yeah. But also, there are people that will compare but unintentionally. Like how many times have you heard someone say, like you might be speaking about a certain experience that happened during that time and you might hear someone say, yeah, I know, like I remember when my sister passed away or I remember when my friend passed away. And it's like, I don't think people intentionally mean to do it sometimes as well.
Some people are just like that,
Yeah, they might just be comparing maybe like an incident that happened or do you know what I mean?
Adding to the conversation. Correct. They don't know how else to sort of continue the conversation.
That's exactly right.
But use an example for themselves. I had a staff member that used to work for me that used to do that all the time. It was probably by far one of the most irritating traits I've ever seen on a human.
How so?
Oh my God. Anything. You pick anything. I could have said
I went to the shops
I went
tomorrow.
to Iceland yesterday.
Yeah.
No, Iceland, and a tiger attacked me, and she would have a story about Iceland and tigers. Every time without fail.
Even if she'd never been.
Every single time. And I have never found a trait more infuriating on a human. That has stuck with me. This, by the way, this staff member was so many years ago.
Wow.
It has bothered me till this day. It is so annoying. Yeah. Every single thing, every story.
A lot of people do like to make things about them. Some people might want to be relatable.
Yeah.
Other people, I think, just want to.
And I get it to an extent though, right? A little bit of that in your character is fine. I totally get that. Not every single time.
Yeah,
and you can't match some things. Like you cannot match a tiger biting me in Iceland. Like what? You know what I mean? What you can't. I know you can't. There's very few people that have been bitten by a tiger in Iceland.
And you were one of them.
I wasn't. I'm not. I don't even know if there are tigers in Iceland.
I don't think there are.
I don't think there are. But see how rare that is that a tiger would bite. But she's got a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people do that with grief.
Yeah, they do.
Well.
They do.
All the time. All the time. And when it's like a sad thing, like, oh, you know, I'll never forget how, you know, this and this happened to me when he passed away. It's like something really dramatic. Oh, yeah. You know, when blah, blah, blah passed away. I like, okay, we didn't have to hear your story, but thank you.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
yeah. But that's what I mean. Yeah. Some people do it intentionally and some people do it and it might not be intentional. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like support people and other people that are listening to the podcast, allow people to just express how they feel, because some people might not, you know, it might not be like so common or it might not be, I guess the word I'm looking for is the norm for them to do that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It might be out of the ordinary.
If it's not the norm, then that's totally, then it sort of becomes normal, because I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to relate, support the person, continue the conversation, because sometimes it is true, right? Someone will tell you something wild about grief, and if you haven't experienced it yourself, where do you go from there?
Yeah, you're just going to stand there.
Sort of like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit awkward. So I get trying to give a story back. I understand that, but it's just my thing is when it's all the time that I hate. But people just sort of adding in stories to make the other person a little bit more comfortable with the conversation. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I also think that there is and I think this is more common than comparison. There's like an unspoken hierarchy of which loss is worse when it comes to what's worse: spouse, parent, child, friend.
Okay, this is what I think about this, right? I think that regardless of how close this person is to you, it is a loss. And it may be the biggest loss that you have had, right? So for me, I feel like comparing something like that, I don't know, it doesn't really sit well with me. I think that there are certain people, like the loss of a child, for example, like that would be fucking massive, right? But if I've not experienced that, that's not the biggest loss to me as it would be to you. Does that make sense?
Yep, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the biggest loss to me was my husband.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I'm on the fence with this. Do I think the hierarchy should be announced aloud and spoken about with people directly? No. Deep down, do I think there's a hierarchy? Probably, yeah. I do. And for example, I just feel, I do have a hierarchy in my head of what a greater loss would be to me, for sure.
I think, like I said, a child would be by far
I think,
what the hell,
so
right?
Do I, yeah.
But I'm talking like out loud. Are we comparing out loud?
Never. That's totally the wrong thing to do, and it's unfair. And this is funny, but it's not funny. So people do it without intending to, right? And it doesn't offend me. I just find it funny.
Yeah.
So let's just say you tell your friend, my husband passed away, okay? Oh, no, they're sad. It's sad. And then they find out someone's child passed away and they're like bawling in front of you and like can't, you know what I mean? And it's like, so my loss wasn't that sad for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't offend me, but you know that the hierarchy's there. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even not even a hierarchy in the terms of who you have lost, how you lost them, I think is one as well, right?
Oh, so, that one's a big one actually.
You get like instant deaths, horrific deaths, stuff like that is like, oh my God, blah, blah. And then like, but they were sick for ages. So, you know.
You've copped that one too.
I get that all the time, especially with how long my husband was sick for. I get it. People think it's like just normal. Of course he's going to die.
Yeah.
He's had cancer for a decade. That's normal. I don't even know why you're sad anymore. You know what I mean? But then if it's like I don't know, motorbike accident or, you know, something like that, everyone's like, oh my God, it happened instantly. Oh my God, you know, which I understand as well. Do I think there's a hierarchy with how they died? Potentially, trauma-wise, I do. Like murder, that stuff, probably trauma is very different to someone being sick over a long period of time and passing quite gracefully. But I just don't think that, I think people should try their best to not push it onto people and maybe not make it known that that's how they feel. Because I think it sort of diminishes the other person's, not diminishes their feelings, but maybe downplays their feelings. And I don't think anyone likes to have their feelings downplayed, definitely. Because we feel how we feel. We're entitled to feel how we feel. I'm going to feel passionate the way that I do. I'm going to feel sad the way that I do. And it's not anyone's place to decide how passionate, how sad, how angry I should be over a certain situation.
And not just that, like, I don't know if it comes from the people that are grieving or if it comes more from like people outside of the grief.
You mean like immediate family that have been affected by loss versus people that aren't affected, just know about it?
Yes. Because I think like, I would never, I would never say that about somebody who lost their friend, for example. Like I would never compare, but I lost my husband and to someone, that's their loss.
Yeah, but do you
And I don't think, parents with children compare to the death of a spouse.
Yeah, but do you think that's because you're quite well educated about grief? And maybe someone that's not so educated might just
hasn't experienced
doing it like not with ill intent.
Potentially, I guess.
Because I think we're both very...
Because I get people who have experienced a loss of a child, or I get, you would know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Not obviously...
Yeah.
I've lost, like the grief part of it. Yeah. Not obviously I've lost a child, but somewhat you would know how I'm... To an extent,
absolutely,
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Well, it's funny because I think the people that say that are the people that are quite educated on grief, right? Like I think it's actually, you're quite self-aware and emotionally intelligent if you're able to say that to someone when you believe that your loss is worse, which it very well may be. But the
of course,
fact that
like I said, the loss of a child would be worse.
No, we're on the same level. We're both going through it. I know what you've been through. You know what I've been through, even though it's different.
Yeah.
So I think, So I think you have to be definitely emotionally intelligent to see that, and self-aware, and probably have a little bit of experience with grief. It's funny. Someone said to me today, actually, they've lost someone, and they knew this person for 30 years. And obviously I have not known my husband for 30 years. They didn't say it they had no ill intent. However, I do feel like they were suggesting that their way of coping with grief is a lot more difficult because of the length of time that they've known their person for. And I can't get angry because do I think it's the right thing to do? No, I wouldn't do that to someone else. Like, for example, if a couple got married a year ago and someone lost their partner, I would not think of you like, oh, well, I was
you
with
only
my
knew
husband.
him for
No,
a year.
I wouldn't. But do I understand 30 years of a relationship versus 5? I do understand that. I can see that. I can understand that. Because if I was in their shoes, I'd probably feel the same way, to be honest. But I wouldn't put it out there.
Was it somebody close to them?
Very, very, yeah.
Like a friend? Was it a friend?
It was a friend/family member, not a parent, not a child. Friend and family member combined in one. A family member that became a very close friend for 30 years. So I kind of get that. I get that. But if I was that person, I probably wouldn't have come across in the way that they did to me. But I don't get offended by that because I know that people aren't that emotionally intelligent and they're not at that level, especially when it comes to grief. Me and you do a lot of grief stuff.
Yes.
It's grief. We talk about it. We listen to other podcasts about it. We know a lot about grief.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I can be mature about it and not get offended. But I think if they were talking to someone else, the other person would have got offended. And I also think that they should not have put it to me in that way. And I wouldn't put it to another person in that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. I definitely think there is more of a hierarchy in people's minds than there is like comparisons out loud. I think everyone's under the general consensus that child grief is the worst.
Of course.
Spouse, parent, everyone else after that.
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing is as well, and this is why it's so important not to compare grief. Let's just say, God forbid, I lost a parent, right? But I'm not close to my parents versus I lose my best friend who is like my soulmate of 30 years. On the outside, you would think, oh, well, surely she was more devastated when she lost her parent.
Yeah.
But everyone's relationship with their person is totally different.
Correct.
And some people aren't. Some people lose a parent. They're like, they were old. We weren't really close. I didn't know. We don't know what's gone on in people's individual situation.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I
100%.
feel like it's really important not to compare, not to judge, not to, just not to speak out
No, I think
loud.
people should just be mindful of everybody's grief journey.
I agree. Another sort of subtopic under our Grief Olympics, which is more tailored to our widower
Community.
or community, is the good widow/widower versus the bad widow/widower.
Okay, can I ask, what does a bad widow look like?
Depends who you ask. I look like a bad widow.
Why do you look like
who you ask. Oh, babe, come on. Depending on who you ask, absolutely. And I don't mind. I'm happy with that.
What do I look like?
I reckon you look like a good widow. That's my opinion. I feel you look like a good widow, but I feel like in my defense, I'm more open. I'm more like, nah, here it is, like it or leave it.
I don't give a shit.
I feel like you're more considerate of other people.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah.
But you're only considerate in some things.
Like what?
Like,
what aren't I considerate about?
Do you reckon you're considerate at work?
In what way?
I don't know. I just feel like at work you're a little less considerate of things versus the widow part of your life. I feel like you're more considerate when you're as a widow and who you might upset or who you might and what you do, whatever. I feel like you're very considerate of other people's feelings.
Right.
But I feel like there's other aspects in your life that you also have that attitude. You're like, no, I don't care. This is this is what's happening. It's not changing, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like when it comes to widowhood and Nadine, you are more considerate than me.
Okay, let's talk about then what a good widow is. So what's a good widow? Somebody who like
depends who you ask.
Doesn't
That's what it depends on, right? What's a good widow to you, in your opinion?
What people will think of a good widow?
What you think.
I don't think there's such thing as a good widow or a bad widow. Okay. I think you do you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's your grief journey. It's significant to you. Do whatever the fuck you want. Whatever makes you happy, whatever doesn't make you, whatever.
Agree.
You just make whatever makes you happy in life, okay, and whatever is going to help you get you through your grief.
Agree.
Do it.
Yeah.
I don't think there is such thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to ask me what I think other people would think is a good widow, that would be not remarrying, staying at home, looking after the kids, not smiling, not going out, dressing in all black for the rest of your life, that sort of stuff. That's a good widow.
I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly. I think definitely that is the wider community's idea of a good widow.
Yeah.
Your idea of a good widow is the way it is, I think, because of your knowledge in grief. Mm-hmm. Not to say that before you lost Mick, your idea of a good widow would have been different. I don't know. But I feel like the way you feel about it now is because you've gone through it yourself and you really know what it's like to be that.
And a bad widow is wearing colour, moving forward.
Oh, what? Oh, did you mean with a guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just meant in life.
Oh, no.
I thought you just meant in life.
In life.
Oh, right.
What else?
A bad widow?
No, a good widow.
No, a bad widow.
Oh, a bad widow. Yes,
hanging out
a
with
bad
friends.
widow. Hanging out with friends, going out, laughing.
Just keep it up.
Yeah, just keep your hand up. Just keep it up. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what a bad widow is.
And that goes back to, and we have done an episode actually on societal expectations, haven't we? A long time ago. We did an episode on
You asked me a question. Sorry, guys.
Look how much you tried to think. You are funny. So we did an episode about that many episodes
ago.
We
did. It was one of our earlier episodes.
Yeah, it was. Because I think that plays a really big role. We always talk about judgment, and that's massive. And the reason we talk about it so much is because you don't understand how your judgment can hinder a person's ability to move forward in their grief journey and move through their grief journey, which is what every griever needs to do in order to see light at the end of the tunnel. They have to go through it. It's not over it. It's not under it. Even people like myself who are like rocks inside and claim to have no emotion and claim to not be affected by anything need to go through it. Might take us longer, but we have to go through it. And by the judgment that people drop onto widows, widowers, grievers, whatever you want to call it, you're hindering their ability to move through their grief journey. And I hate that. And I think that's why we talk about it so much, because we're both so passionate about it. I hate it. It's so unfair and it's just ridiculous for you to think that your opinion is that great that you need to share it.
Yeah,
don't
that's
fucking
right.
share it.
That's right.
Shush, don't share it. Share it with your husband. Share it with your parent. I don't know. Share it with someone else. Not like, I hate that. I hate it a lot. And we always talk about grief on this podcast. But when it comes to good widow and bad widow, I think it's very much what you described. And I think it's just society, society, people that haven't experienced loss, thinking they would know what they would do in that situation.
Yeah.
I put up a quote on Instagram yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. It was A1. My sister-in-law actually sent it to me. It was like a few things in life, divorces, marriages, children, grief, and there was a couple other things, are these things that you will never understand until you go through it.
Yeah.
You just won't. I always refer back to parenting, right? And I don't like to be offensive to anyone, because I understand that there's a lot of people that don't have children that wish they could have children, and I totally respect that and I sympathize with that. But I really remember going through that myself, thinking like, no, I get it. I know what it's like to be a parent. I can imagine it. Do you know what I mean? I can imagine the love that a parent has. I can imagine why parents discipline. I can imagine why parents, I can imagine all these things.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I don't know 100%, but I'm like 80% sure I know what it's like. Then you have a kid. wow, no fucking, not even close to what you thought it was going to be like, you know? And that for me is same as grief. You can imagine what it will be like. It could be worse than you thought. It could be better than you thought.
That's
you don't
exactly
know.
right. You don't know.
But it's just one of those things that I promise you, if you're watching this and you're seeing a snippet or you're whatever and you're judging and you're sitting there and you think, oh, well, I know for a fact if my husband died, I wouldn't be partying and putting it all over Instagram. Well, I know for a fact that if my husband died, I would never get remarried. I'll never meet the love of my. I promise you, you don't know what you're talking about.
And interesting you say that. So this morning I saw a post on TikTok and it was this lady who, when I clicked on her profile, she did have a large following.
Right.
She had like, I don't know, maybe like 30,000.
Okay.
And she started off by, it was one of those ones where, you know, you start the video off by addressing something, right? So I got intrigued. Turns out this woman had fallen pregnant with twins.
Right.
And both they were stillborn at like 21 weeks or something like that. And then not long after, her husband died. He committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
And in that moment, I was like, I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine losing your children, two of your children, and your husband.
Yeah.
And she said something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, I'm grieving my husband who I lost through grief.
Yeah. That's
like that was so powerful, you know?
Yeah.
And it took her 2 years to get back onto social media and make this statement.
Wow.
And like you were saying earlier, you just don't know.
That's exactly right.
You can try and imagine. Yeah. But, you know, I've lost my husband.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've not lost a child.
That's right.
This woman lost two and then her husband.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? At the same time, I would also even go as far to saying, and again, we don't compare on how someone lost someone, of course, to the person, etc. But in my own thoughts, I would also go as far as thinking about the suicide part of it and thinking, fuck, like that's heavy.
Yeah.
Like I have another client who had a suicide in the family. I never heard that story and thought, I know what you're going through. Like I heard that story and I was like, I don't even know what to say. And I've been through grief, but I don't even know how to approach suicide, you know? So I think, being self-aware about the fact that yes, everyone's loss is different. However, not making someone feel like theirs is less than. I think that's the key. Not to make someone feel like theirs is less than, because I think it's a really shitty feeling.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Ended on a heavy note.
I know.
Goodness. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Oh, tell us.
But you need to tell us. Where are you going? You're leaving us for a little bit.
Yes. Well, I don't know when exactly this will be uploaded, but when it is uploaded, I won't be in the country. So I am leaving you guys for a little bit. We still will be posting fortnightly though, not weekly.
Yeah.
And then when I get back, guys, back into business. We'll be back every week on your screens.
Yeah.
But just for the next month and a half, it's going to be fortnightly posting. As always, Married Now Widowed on all platforms. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. If you are grieving or you are supporting someone that's grieving, please head over to our Facebook page and join our support group. We will see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.